Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is HASLINDA. I'm a student of Sulawesi Barat University. I'm in 7th semester class English Education C 2017. This video is one of the assignment of English for specific purpose course by Mr. Adi Isma. ESP is a subset of English as a second or foreign language. It usually refers to teaching the English language to university students or people already in employment, with reference to the particular vocabulary and skill they need. ESP was born in the 1960s as a technical text analysis area. According to Hutchinson and Waters, 1987, the origins of ESP are influenced by three factors. The first is demands of a brave new world. English was the key to the international currencies of technology and commerce. The second is a revolution in linguistics. If language varies from a situation of use to another, it should be possible to determine the features of specific situations and then make these features the basis of the learner's course. The third is focus on the learner. The development of courses in which relevance to the learner's needs and interests was paramount. There are 5 steps of analysis in the development of ESP. The first is the concept of spatial language or register analysis. To identify the grammatical and lexical features of a language register, the aim is to produce a syllabus that gives high priority to the forms of language that students will encounter in their science lessons, and in turn, gives low priority to those that they will not encounter. The second is beyond the sentence, rhetorical or discourse analysis. Analyze a sentence and learn about how a sentence can form into meaning. This analysis teaches you to able to find out the composition of each sentence and also teach how to use the sentence in every different situation. The third is target situation analysis. Target situation analysis is also known as needs analysis, which aims to understand the situation experienced by students so that the teacher can condition the syllabus that will be made or used. The fourth is skill and strategies. This analysis aims to identify the learning abilities and strategies needed for students, because it could be that if a teacher does not pay attention to the abilities of his students, it will result in an imbalance between the abilities and learning strategies given. The last is a learning-centered approach. This approach is a situation where students and teachers will consult actively. It is believed that this method or approach will be more effective in maximizing the learning situation. ESP must be seen as an approach, not as a product. ESP is not a particular kind of language or methodology, nor does it consist of a particular type of teaching material. ESP is an approach to language learning which is based on the learner's need. Course design. Course design is often a substantial and important part of the workload. Designing a course is fundamentally a matter of asking questions in order to provide a reason, basis for the subsequent process of syllabus design, material sorting, classroom teaching, and evaluation. Language description. The language description is the way in which the language system is broken down and described for the purpose of learning. They refer to ways of analyzing and describing language. Various language descriptions developed in linguistics. The first is classical or traditional grammar. Descriptions of English and other languages were based on the grammars of classical language, Greek and Latin. The second is structural linguistics. Language is described in terms of syntagmatic structures which carry the fundamental proposition, statement, interrogative, negative, imperative, etc., and notions, time, number, gender, etc. The third is transformational generative grammar. the structural view of language as a collection of syntagmatic patterns until the publication in 1957 of Syntactic Structures by Noam Chomsky. The fourth is language variation and register analysis. The concept of language variation gave rise to the hype of ESP, which was based on register analysis. The fifth is functional and notional grammar. Functions are concurrent with the social behavior and represent the intention of the speaker or writer. It's equated with the communicative acts that are carried out through language. Notions, on the other hand, reflect the way in which human mind thinks. They are categories into which the mind and terrible language divide its reality. The sixth is discourse or rhetorical analysis. Looking at how meaning is generated between sentences, the context of the sentence is also important in creating the meaning. Language learning is conditioned by the way in which the mind observes, organizes, and stores information. There are 5 main stages of learning development. The first is behaviorism. Learning is a mechanical process of habit formation and processed by means of the frequent. The second is mentalism. Learning is consists not of forming habits but acquiring rules. The third is cognitive code. Learners as thinking beings. Learning is a process in which the learner actively tries to make sense of data. The fourth is the affective factor. Learners as emotional beings. The importance of the emotional factor. And the fifth is learning and acquisition. Learning seen as a conscious process, while acquisition process unconsciously. And the last but not at least is a model for learning. Needs analysis. Needs analysis is neither unique to language teaching or within language training. However, needs analysis is the cornerstone of ESP and leads to a very focused course. Target needs. Target needs is something of an umbrella term which in practice hides a number of important distinctions. It's more useful to look at the target situation in terms of necessities, likes, and wants. Necessities. According to the demands of the target situation, this is what the learner has to know in order to function effectively in that situation. Lacks. According to what the learner already knows, we decide what necessities are missing. There is a gap between the existing proficiency and the target proficiency. Wants. According to what we have considered from an objective POV, we have to say that a need does not exist independent of a person. Learning needs is the gap between the learner's current level of knowledge and skills and the level of knowledge and skills required to perform a test or a set of tests. The actual needs differ as do the methods employed to meet those needs. Approach to course design. Course design is the process and methodology of creating quality learning environments and experience for students through deliberate and structured exposure to instructional materials, learning activities, and interaction. Students are able to access information, obtain skills, and practice higher levels of thinking. The focus of course design is to put together the optimal learning experience for students in an environment that is supportive and appreciative of learning and intellectual development. There are 3 main types of course design. The first is language-centered course design. This is the simplest type of course design and perhaps the most familiar to English teachers. This is very common in ESP. This language-centered course design aims to illustrate the direct possible relationship between the target situation analysis and the ESP course content. The second is skill-centered course design. This approach aims to assist students in developing skills and strategies that continue after the ESP course by making students better information processors. The third is learning-centered course design. This approach is based on the principle that learning is entirely determined by the learner. As teachers, we can influence what we teach, but what learners learn is determined by students only. So, the conclusion is that after studying this material, we can find out what is necessary and important for us to know in this ESP material. Thank you.